The following is a paid program, and the views expressed on this show do not represent the views of WJZ-FM, Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers. Today, I have certified financial planner practitioner Jeff Akers with me. He's been in the industry, financial services, for over 20 years now. He knows what he's talking about, right, Jeff?
That is correct, Brian. I do. As a matter of fact, so do you, because you've been at this longer than I have.
Yeah, I remember when I made that call when you were working with a health group back in, it was 20 years ago this September, and I had that call and I said, well, I need you to come back to Maryland to work with us to be a financial assistant. And you've come from a financial assistant, a paraplanner, to a certified financial planner, Series 7 broker, life and health license, investment advisor rep. I'm very qualified. But one of the things you do at Akers Financial Group is you have become a health insurance expert, especially since 2008, 2009, when the healthcare law really started to change a lot. So are you okay with and excited about today? Because today we're talking about what you're an expert in, which is knowing your healthcare options. This can keep you winning in retirement. And Jeff Akers from Akers Financial Group is here with me today to talk about this. But are you feeling okay today, Jeff?
I'm feeling just fine. There's a lot of things that did change, and there are a lot of things that continue to change. So we just keep up with the rules and help our clients navigate those healthcare waters.
Right. So healthcare insurance is a very large part of any retirement plan. It's going to be one of your bigger parts of your budget. We want you to know about options as we get ready to enter retirement and as we are in retirement. So today's show is about the healthcare options that are out there. We'll start out with a real simple dissertation on healthcare. I thought we'd start with that, Jeff. That sounds all right?
Yeah, that sounds fine. Most people, when you're working, you're in a job, and you have health insurance through your job. That's kind of the normal. It's employer-sponsored health insurance. And once a year, you get a list of, here are your options. And you'll see things on that list like HMO and POS and PPO, things like that. And some people just look at the list and say, well, which one costs me the least? And that's the one they pick. Other people say which one covers the most, and that's the one they pick. But, we don't necessarily give a lot of thought to what am I choosing and why. So that's one of the things we help with. And just by the way, today we're going to be talking about employees, but if you're an employer and you're having to make the choices about what plans to have available for your folks, it can be a daunting task as well. So, but today we're going to focus on the employers that are working for you. So if you see an HMO versus a PPO, just think in terms of it's a matter of what doctors can you see. They have different networks and they work differently in that regard. The PPO is usually going to be a little more expensive than the HMO, but you have more choices with the PPO than the HMO. That's a lot of initials, and it can be a daunting task to go through. But that's just the insurance side of it. You might also see some things on there like FSA. An FSA is a flexible spending account. And these things have been around for a long, long time. I remember my first job that I had, my first real job, because it had benefits, and they had an FSA. And they said, Jeff, you can put money into this. It'll come out pre-tax, so it won't be taxed when it goes into it. And then you can spend it on your medical expenses through the year, and it'll be tax-free. So you're using money without ever paying taxes to pay for your health care. And that's going to save you money because of that tax savings. And I thought, that's fantastic. How much can I put in there? So I put money in there, and everything was great. And then I got to the end of the year, and they came back and said, now any money in this account that you don't use this year, you're going to lose it and going to start over next year at zero. So I started looking around for things that I needed to have done. My wife needed glasses, and she was like, oh, these frames are less expensive. And I was like, no, let's get the nice frames over here. We got money to spend. And so we had to use that up. But that was a lesson I learned about the flexible spending account. It is a way to save money, but you have to plan ahead for your expenses, what you're going to put into it, because at the end of the year, if you don't use it, then you're going to lose it. In recent years, they have made a change that they'll allow you to carry over up to $500 to the next year, but you can put in around $2,700, $2,750 this year, and so only carrying over $500, you've still got a lot to spend in order to get down to that. So that's a way to save some money with taxes if that's available through your employer. And today I'm only talking about the health care FSA. There are other flexible spending accounts out there as well. Now you might also see something on the open enrollment forms that says HRA. That's a health reimbursement arrangement. The thing to remember about an HRA is that you don't put money into it. Your employer puts money into that, and then you can use that to pay for medical expenses, and again, you don't pay tax on it. Most of the time an employer will say, we're going to put this much per month into your HRA account, and you can use that for medical expenses. So you have to you might have to wait a few months to save up to pay some of the bigger bills that come through with that. Usually it's paired with a high deductible health insurance plan. High deductible means you pay a lot of money first before the insurance starts paying. And so an HRA is a way to fund that deductible. This is a use it or lose it type plan, similar to the FSA, but you can carry over up to $500, and there are some rules around that. Then we get to my personal favorite, and this one's called an HSA, a health savings account. And there are a lot of rules around HSAs, and we'll talk about them now, and we'll talk about them a little later as well. But a health savings account, there's no income limit to contribute to it. So it doesn't matter how much you earn, you're allowed to put money into it as long as you have a health insurance plan that is compatible with a health savings account. If you're in open enrollment and you see an insurance plan that says HSA eligible, that means you can have the health savings account. The employee, so you can contribute and your employer can contribute. There is a limit to how much you can put in, and that limit, the employer and employee contributions both count towards that same limit, that one limit. So if your employer is contributing, you need to pay attention so that you don't put too much in and get in trouble that way. But it's tax-free money, and you can use that to cover your health expenses. Now, the difference between this one, the primary difference between this one and the other two, is it's your money. That means if you get to the end of the year and you didn't use it all up, that's fine. It's your money. It stays in your HSA account, and the next year you can put more money into it and you can grow that HSA. Now, Brian and I were talking before the show. We have families, and so there's a limit to how much you can put into it. So it can be hard to make that grow very much, but if you can get it to grow, if you're young, if you're single, you don't have a whole lot of healthcare expenses, you can put money in there, you can save on taxes, and you can build a little nest egg for healthcare expenses. If you get enough money in there, you can even invest it in mutual funds and stocks and things like that. So it is a wonderful tool that I like a lot.
All right, that was a pretty long spiel there with a whole lot of letters, Jeff. So let's try to break some of that things you said down. So the last section that you did was really about saving money on ways to cover expenses that you're responsible for expenses that are not paid by your health care. And that comes through ways of using FSA, HRA, or HSA. And that's to pay deductibles, co-pays, things that are not covered by your health insurance. Is that all very true and fair?
That is correct. You can also use it to cover things like dental expenses and vision, things that aren't necessarily covered on your health insurance, but they are considered qualified medical expenses.
So one of the biggest things I've seen in financial planning reviews is that they don't max out their 401k plans. So we get them to max out their 401k plans, and then we look at what other ways can we save money and throw money tax-free to the future. and that is HSA, the Health Savings Account. Health Savings Account, we can actually put money in. I think you said $7,100 if you're over 55 and married, or is it even higher than that?
It's even higher than that. There's $1,000 catch-up if you're over 55, so it's $7,100 for a family. But if the owner of the HSA is over 55, then it's $8,100 that you can put into an HSA this year.
And one of the best things to do is if you overfund that, it's fully deductible off of on your tax return. You don't have to pay taxes on that money. It's then put in an account, which as you build it up high enough, you then can start investing it in sub-accounts. And then when you retire, you'll have this bucket of money for health care, to pay your Medicare supplement, to pay for deductibles, to pay for glasses and dental, and to pay for long-term care. So an HSA is a way of lowering your income now if you're looking for tax deductions. If your company offers an HSA option and maybe you're not using your health care, don't need it might be blessed that way, we highly recommend you look at HSA as a way of saving money for the medical expense in retirement. Very, very important piece to know, right?
That is correct. If, like Brian said, if your income is high in particular, it makes a big difference because there's no income limit to be able to contribute. There's a lot of plans, individual plans, that there's an income limit. If you make too much money, you're not allowed to put it in and get a tax deduction. You start losing tax breaks. This is one of those tax breaks that still exists for you as long as that plan is eligible.
All right, so what happens with health care and health care insurance is that we don't know who to talk to. We don't understand that health care decisions are part of a retirement planning decision. What we recommend, of course, is to do this. When you have a health care question and it's involving financial planning and everything else, at Acres Financial Group, our clients call and talk to Jeff Akers. He's the health care expert to help them understand their personal options. They're unique, just like everything else. And that's what we're going to be covering this show. Don't just accept what's going on. We want you to be looking at opportunities, to be out there creating and sitting up and going for things that you need to do that'll help you in and through your retirement years. You need to be in the best shape possible. We highly recommend, of course, that you give us a call at Acres Financial Group and begin taking advantage of this opportunity to start planning with us. You can schedule your free phone call or video meeting by calling 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. When you call and leave a message, Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video meeting with one of our team of advisors. So go ahead and give us a call at 833-946-7384 or visit acresfinancial.com or even check us out on the Facebook page. If you think healthcare is a reason why you can't retire before 65, you want to hear this segment. We will be back soon.
Hi, this is Jesse Cunningham, the owner of Mountain View Insurance, and we are proud to be affiliated with Acres Financial Group. We, too, base our business on integrity, service, and acknowledge that every client's insurance needs are unique to their own situation. At Mountain View Insurance, we specialize in car insurance, home insurance, and umbrella coverages, all designed to protect your assets that you've worked so hard to earn. When serving our clients, we focus on creating a protection plan that is appropriate to your needs. After we determine the correct plan, we then go to shop for you. Mountain View Insurance is an independent insurance brokerage, and that means we have access to many top national and regional insurance carriers. Let us build an appropriate and affordable insurance plan for you, and give us a call directly at 410-262-3176. Once again, that's 410-262-3176. This is Jesse Cunningham, owner of Mountain View Insurance, and I look forward to hearing from you.
You are unique. Just as no two fingerprints are alike, each individual's financial situation is uniquely their own. That's why the Acres Financial Group's team of advisors begins each relationship with a proven process that identifies your financial fingerprint. We'll guide you through a series of steps designed to provide a complete and accurate snapshot of where you are right now. Everything we learn about your financial fingerprint will become part of a detailed financial plan created especially for you. We'll never give you a cookie-cutter proposal or suggest a one-size-fits-all portfolio. The financial plan takes you from where you are now to where you need to be. Begin by discovering your financial fingerprint right now by going to getmyfinancialfingerprint.com. That's getmyfinancialfingerprint.com.
Member FINRA SIPC. You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Yes, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers. We are both certified financial practitioners from Akers Financial Group. Hey, Jeff, are you excited about our topic today?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about healthcare. It's a lot of good stuff that needs to be understood.
Right, and so what happens is that you do not have to be the expert. What you need to do is to know who to call, to know what to do about getting better answers. This segment is about this. If you think healthcare is a reason why you cannot retire before age 65, you're going to want to hear this segment. We're going to be telling you how it works before age 65. So let's use generally between 62 and 65 because that's a normal question we face a lot. How are you and your spouse going to have health insurance until Medicare kicks in at 65? Let's start out with some basic knowledge, Jeff. So Medicare starts at what age?
65. That's why the question comes up. That's why people say, I can't retire until I turn 65 and I can get Medicare.
So what happens at 64? What kind of health insurance are available for someone that's not 65 yet?
So in the last segment, we talked about employer-sponsored health insurance. So most people have some sort of employer-sponsored health insurance. And if they want to retire at 64 and they do that, they lose that employer-sponsored health insurance. So the first thing that we take a look at is something called COBRA, or if you work for a small employer, it might be called Maryland Continuation Coverage. But it's a way to keep your employer-sponsored health insurance, but you're paying for it yourself. It's not being subsidized by your employer anymore. So that's the first thing that we want to take a look at.
But typically, COBRA is you're paying 100% of what the employer was paying. It might be the first time you realize how much health care really costs.
That is true. And depending on certain circumstances, you could even pay a little bit more than your employer was paying because there's like service fees or whatever, because you're the one paying it instead of it going through the employer. So it can be an expensive option, but a good option.
So if I retire at 62 and I want to stay with my company plan, what happens? Do I have to do that before I retire? Do I have a window after my retirement date? What happens?
You have a window after your retirement date to elect COBRA and to say, this is what I want to do. Now, COBRA lasts for 18 months for the individual retiring. So you've got a year and a half that you could use this and have coverage. After that, we would have to do something else to bridge the rest of the gap to get you to age 65.
So if you're 63 and a half, you could take COBRA, which is your company plan. You pay 100% of it, and then that would cover you until 65. Or because of retirement, you could do other things, right?
Yes. Now, something that is interesting that I want to touch on here is that sometimes folks say, well, I'm old enough for Medicare, but my spouse is not, and so I've got to wait until they reach 65. And we talked about at 63 and a half, the individual can have that 18 months of coverage. But for dependents could have up to 3 years worth of coverage. So if you have a spouse younger than you, you might be able to retire and keep them on COBRA for a longer time period than just that 18 months. So that's a tool that we can use if COBRA is what your employer has. If it's a small employer and it's Maryland Continuation, we have to look at some other things, but that option may exist for you.
And one option could be to have your spouse work longer while you retire.
Yeah, that can be real popular if the spouse wasn't working in the first place and they stayed at home. That's usually where it comes up.
Yeah, well, if they can get benefits, then they say, well, I'm working for the benefits. Now, what happens here is this. So you want to retire, and a lot of people say 62. And financially, maybe that would work for you. But then they have the health care piece. And they look at us, husband and wife, for coverage. How much would they pay under COBRA for like a basic plan? What's kind of a range would premium be?
Oh gosh, if it's a husband and wife, it could easily be $1,000 or $1,200 a month. It depends on the plan. No two plans are going to be alike, and there are going to be some pretty significant differences, but that's just a guesstimate, I suppose, is around $1,000, $1,200.
Right. And so what happens is that if you don't want to take COBRA, but you're going to retire, you don't have a spouse to switch to their plan because you retired, that's an event that allows you to switch plans to the other person. But then you might start looking at other choices. What are some other choices people have?
So if there's no employer-sponsored plan available, and you don't want to take COBRA, or you've used up all your COBRA, then you could buy your own. You can go out and shop for health insurance. It's an individual health insurance plan. In Maryland, the choices are pretty limited. There's really 2 carriers that you could use. And so you shop for that, pick a plan, and you just pay for it yourself, that individual plan. Now, if your income is low enough, and sometimes folks retire and so they can make their income really low for a little while, you could go through the Maryland Health Connection. And the Maryland Health Connection allows you to choose an individual plan, but because your income is low, you can receive a subsidy from the state. So that helps keep the cost of the premium low, because you're being subsidized not by your employer, but by the government now, by using the Maryland Health Connection.
Do you happen to know the single or married filing jointly income limits on the subsidy for Maryland?
I don't know the numbers offhand. What I do know is when you go in and you estimate your income for the year, this is something to be aware of. You want to be as accurate as possible, because next year, when you file your taxes, they're going to look back and say, well, here's what you said your income was going to be, and here's what it really was. You had more income than what you thought you were going to have, so we gave you more of a subsidy than we should have. And so you end up owing that back. And so I've had folks be surprised with the tax bill that came up when they filed their taxes the next year. So that's something to be aware of with the subsidy. The way they do that calculation, though, is they use 4 times the poverty level for a family, and that's going to be where the subsidies start kicking in. If you make 4 times the poverty level, that's where you start becoming eligible for these subsidies. And the lower your income, the higher the subsidy.
All right, and that's called the Maryland Healthcare Connection. There's a website that's tied to that?
That's correct. Yeah, Maryland Health Connection. If you type that in and search for it, it'll come up. It was created, 6-7 years ago now, I guess. And it's just a way that you can shop for health insurance. It'll ask you a bunch of questions about your income, and they need that information so that they can figure out the subsidy for you. The reason to use that is if you're going to get a subsidy. That's a good idea.
All right. Well, tell us about if you just want to buy short-term coverage. Let's say you're 64 and a half, you need 6 months coverage. Is there such a thing as short-term health care?
There is short-term health care. Now, we all remember the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and it had an individual mandate. So you're required by law to have health insurance, and it has to be a qualified plan. Now, there was a penalty if you did not have that qualified health insurance. Well, a couple of years ago, the penalty was removed from the law. So while you're still required by law to have health insurance, there's no penalty if you don't. So it's kind of one of those things, if they don't enforce the speed limit, why am I going to drive the speed limit? So you can have a short-term health insurance plan, short-term 3 months, 6 months, whatever the case may be. You can have a short-term plan that's not going to qualify as, be qualified coverage, but there's no penalty. So it's a way to inexpensively get from point A to point B when you become eligible for Medicare. Now, I was talking to someone younger earlier this week, and they, with the coronavirus, they were laid off, they lost health insurance, and they're like, I never go to the doctor. I just want something major medical just in case until I go back to work. So we could look at short-term insurance for that. But some might say, I never go to the doctor. I'm just not going to have health insurance. And when I get a job, then I'll get it again. The thing that I want you to think about, though, is right now, the reason you might have lost your job is a virus. And a virus is something that you can't control not too well, whether or not you get it. You might be surprised and get it. And if you get something like that, you're likely to be seeing a doctor, and it's going to cost money to do that. So it's a good protection to have health insurance just to cover your finances from those unexpected expenses.
Right, so that's basically going without coverage, which we see some 20-year-olds try to do that, and that's where the mandate tried to stop that, and then the mandate was taken away. But we still feel that people need to have health care at all times in their career. They can ruin their finances by going deep in debt off of one terrible incident. So you need to take health care as a very important piece of your retirement planning. When it comes to health care and you're getting ready to retire before 65, you need to understand these things, such as COBRA. What does your company offer? Get that information as you're doing your retirement planning. And then you got to look at building your own, look at the Maryland healthcare options, Health Connection options, short-term options, and look at whatever else is out there. So understanding this is part of your budget. Insurance and taxes will dominate the money that's going out the door when you retire. So you got to make sure you know what's going on.
That's right. And one of the first step that we use in the financial planning process is protect your family and protect your finances. The health insurance is a way to protect that. Like Brian said, something unexpected comes up, the bills can be astronomical if you've ever seen a hospital bill, and you need something that's going to cover that for you and protect the rest of your nest egg from those kinds of expenses.
All right, so health care is a very large expense that will be there throughout your retirement years. We've been talking about retiring a little bit early, before age 65. What you want to during retirement is you want to get your time back. You want to relax. You want to not worry about big expenses and what health care to choose, all these decisions that have to be made as you're organizing your retirement. What we recommend is you have a great retirement plan built for you. And what you need by having that financial plan, that retirement plan built for you, is you need someone who's going to come alongside and be there to help you understand all your options. Acres Financial Group is giving you an opportunity to give us a call at 833-WINRETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video meeting. Or if you need to meet us face-to-face, we're doing the mask meeting. Of course, the mask is 6 feet apart, so it's not really that tight, but we are wearing the masks. So the mask financial planning is happening at Acres Financial Group. Go ahead and give us a call to start planning now at 833-946-7384, or go to acresfinancial.com, and of course you can check us out on our Facebook page. Today's show is brought to you by the letters A, B, C, D. Yep, we're going to talk about the alphabet of Medicare when we come back.
Imagine you're retired. You wake up in the morning and you don't even know what day it is. Every day seems like a Saturday. You can sleep in, cook a nice full breakfast without thinking about morning traffic or work deadlines. The Saturday calmness you used to crave is now your everyday feeling. You're not worried about your retirement income or how your investments are doing. Your biggest decision that day is where you're going to drink that first cup of coffee. Is that the kind of retirement you want? If it is, then sit down and talk with the team at Acres Financial Group. They want to help you get there. They've been helping families in Maryland plan for retirement for over 30 years. Call to schedule your complimentary meeting at 833-WIN-RETIRE. The number again is 833-WIN-RETIRE. Start planning for your retirement now. Call 833-946-7384. Member FINRA SIPC.
Long before 18-year-old Brooks Robinson was signed to play third base, and years before Natty Boh began brewing at the corner of Conkling and O'Donnell Streets, Baltimore families relied on the Evans family and the Evans Funeral Chapel and cremation services to help them during some of their most important family moments. Hi, I'm Charlie Evans, and for 4 generations, my family and I have been there for families, providing care and compassion in their time of need. Evans Funeral Chapel and cremation services provides the best facility, staff, and personalized service for your family. We have 3 convenient locations to serve the community: Parkville, Forest Hill, and Hereford. For more information, visit us online at evansfuneralchapel.com or call 410-665-9444. Evans Funeral Chapel and Cremation Services, serving Baltimore families since 1865. I invite your confidence.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Today's show was brought to you by the letters A, B, C, D. Yep, we're going to talk about the alphabet of Medicare when we come live right now, and that's Winning in Retirement with Akers Financial Group. I'm Brian Akers, and yes, I brought Jeff Akers here with me to come to our special street to talk about the financial letters, the alphabet of Medicare. Medicare is going to be our topic for this third quarter of the show. So, Jeff, are you ready to go with the alphabet of Medicare?
The alphabet of Medicare. What fun, what fun. You know, it kind of strikes me, we always hear, especially this time of year, it's the political season, people talk about, oh, we want to take care of our seniors, we want to make things easier for our seniors. And as we're going to find out, Medicare is not a simple thing. And so it just kind of, I find it funny that it's not nearly as easy as what you would hope that it would be when you get to that age 65 Medicare.
All right, let's start out with Medicare. What is Medicare? And it does start at 65 unless you're fully disabled, which means Medicare can actually be, you can be eligible for Medicare at any age if you're fully disabled, right, Jeff?
That is correct. If you're fully disabled for at least 2 years, you're taking SSDI, and there are certain types of disabilities that you're eligible for Medicare instantly. But we're talking about winning in retirement, so we're talking about folks reaching age 65, and that's when they're eligible for Medicare.
All right, so what is Medicare, and when, at what age does someone truly have to then begin paying attention about Medicare?
Well, you have to start paying attention at least when you're 64, because the time to sign up is when you're 3 months before that 65th birthday. Now, there are some reasons that you wouldn't have to take it at 65. We'll get into those a little later. But assuming that you are going to have to take it when you turn 65, you sign up for it 3 months before your 65th birthday in order to have it. Now, in reality, you're going to be thinking about it because anytime you go to the mailbox that year of your 60, when you're 64, you're going to be getting all kinds of mail about Medicare supplement this and Medicare that. And I mean, it's going to fill up. If it's the winter time, it'll be wonderful because you'll have something that you can burn in the fireplace or the stove. But there's just a ton of information that comes that year. I hear, not complaints, but I hear people talking about all the mail that they get that year. And they're like, what is up with this?
Right. So what happens is that there's a Medicare decision that has to be made as you're around 64 years old. But then in retirement, you have to make a Medicare decision each and every fall. What's the deadlines and the timing when it comes to the fall for Medicare for people?
So the open enrollment period for Part D, which is a prescription plan, starts in October. It's October 15th, and it goes until December 7th. And then the coverage takes effect January 1st. So you've got a window of time between October and December to make a decision, and then whatever decision that is going to take effect January 1st. Now, that's for the prescription plan. I want to run through real quickly the parts of Medicare. There's Part A, which is free.
We're going to start with A.
Yeah, we like to start with A because we are Akers Financial Group, so we start with A. A is free. It doesn't cost anything. You've been paying into Medicare your whole working life, and so it's covered automatically. Part A is for hospitalization, but that's all it covers is the hospital. So then there's Part B, like in boy.
B.
And Part B is for outpatient kinds of things. So you see your doctor, or if you had physical therapy, something like that is going to be Part B. Part B is not free. It costs $144.60 this year. And normally it goes up every year because there's inflation in the world. So last year it was $135. This year it's $144. It will continue to increase. And then we get Part D. D is in David because
hey. You forgot C. A, B, C. You're jumping to D?
Yeah. I'm jumping to D. I'll come back to C. I'll explain C in a second.
Very confusing, Jeff. So D as in David.
D as in David or drug, because this is your prescription plan. This was the one that we remember came out in the early 2000s, George W. Bush and Al Gore, and they had their debates about, prescription coverage, and so it finally got implemented in the early 2000s. You buy it through a private company, but it has to fit certain criteria in order to be a Part D plan, and the price that you pay for it is going to depend on the plan that you choose. So I can't really tell you what that's going to cost because it's going to vary for everyone. But you do have to have it, and you can get really inexpensive plans, or you can get really expensive plans that'll cover just about anything. All right, so that is what I'll call traditional Medicare. Then, if we look at Part C, since we missed C, as in cat, you might have heard of Medicare Advantage. And Medicare Advantage rolls into one Parts A, B, D, and even something we haven't talked about yet, which is the supplements. Depends on where you live. These plans are available. You have to choose one that's available in your area. And it's usually an HMO. It might be a PPO, but you're limited to the doctors you can see within that region. And depending on where you are, there might be some really good plans out there that are really inexpensive, and it's a good thing to look into and see if it's available. It's not available. Not everywhere has a plan worth having, but it's worth the investigation for sure. So when we talk about traditional Medicare, there is no Part C in traditional Medicare. You either have A, B, and D, or you have C. So, that's a very simple thing, and we're thankful to Congress for coming up with these titles and rules and things like that.
So the alphabet of Medicare is C stands alone. So C is down the street by itself, and that's Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is where, example might be you might be near a hospital that offers it, and that might be your sole provider, the place you go all the time. And then that would fit real well. Is that what Medicare Advantage is?
That is true. And there are certain, we live in a state with a lot of good hospitals, so check and see if one is available in the county where you live.
What's the premium for Medicare Advantage?
Well, you're buying that individually, so it's going to vary, but I've seen premiums less than $100 a month for some folks.
Okay, so that could be a way to save money in your retirement years if you're near a Medicare Advantage facility, a system that provides it. You could save money on your premium. So the premiums are tied to what you pick. So the alphabet of Medicare, normal Medicare is A, which is free, but you have to sign up for it. Is that true?
Yes, you do have to sign up for it if you haven't already signed up for Social Security. If you sign up for Social Security, you're automatically enrolled in Part A.
All right, so Part A is free. You have to sign up for Part B? Is that a requirement?
It's a requirement unless you're working and you have employer-sponsored health insurance, then you don't have to take Part B initially. The reason they give you a waiver for that is it costs money. There's a premium for it, so they don't make you pay for it.
Okay. Now, do you have to buy D, as in David? Do you have to buy Part D, the drugs?
D as in David is the same as Part B. If you have health insurance through an employer, and this could be you or your spouse, as long as you're on an employer-sponsored plan, then you don't have to sign up for B as in boy or D as in David, because those have costs associated with them.
Let's say I'm 67 years old, I'm hearing the radio show, and I never signed up. Is there a penalty for missing age 65?
There is a penalty for missing age 65 for every month that you should have had Medicare and you didn't sign up for it. There's a penalty associated with it, and that penalty will be applied every month for the rest of your life. So it's very important that you look back and make sure that you have coverage so that you're eligible to not take Part B or Part D when it looks like you're required to. We've had clients that they reach 70 but they're still working, and so they didn't have to sign up for B or D. But once they retire, you've got to sign up for that right away. And again, 3 months before your retirement, that's when you would want to sign up for it.
And they sign up on what? On a website now? How do they sign up?
It is through a website. It's through the Social Security website. You can apply for Medicare and or Social Security all through the same website. So you go to SSA.gov.
SSA.gov. So that website is where you go, you set up your account. Anybody, any age can set this account up, and you can sort of see your Social Security record. You can see your Social Security projections. They will then email you about once a year showing you the statement. They don't mail these statements out anymore. But then also, this is where you can apply for Social Security and for your Medicare at 64. Now, if you're not drawing Social Security and you're 65 under Medicare, they're going to actually mail you a bill every quarter. Is that correct?
Yep, you pay that $144.60 on a quarterly basis. So they take that $144.60 times 3, and that is your quarterly bill. And you'll pay that until you take Social Security, because then that premium comes directly out of your Social Security payment. Now, one quick thing, we mentioned supplements before. This is separate. It is part of Medicare, but it's a supplement you buy from an individual company, so you've got different choices with that. But they named the choices plans, and it's Plan A, B, C, D. It goes all the way up to like Plan N. So there's a bunch of plans, but with Medicare, keep in mind, you're going to have Part A, B, D, but then you're also going to have a supplemental plan, which also uses the letters A, B, C, D that you choose from.
All right, so the alphabet of Medicare, that's been our third quarter talk. We have a lot more to talk about in the fourth quarter. Acres Financial Group is designed as a local, independent financial services company designed to help you, the individual, as you get ready for your major goals in life. Many transitions occur in life, and we got to be ready for them and be planning ahead of time and know what we're going to do. Knowing these things are very important. At Acres Financial Group, we recommend that you call us and sit down with a free time to talk about your situation, where you are now. Let's find out more about you and just figure out what's best for you to do when it comes to making your decisions. You can begin winning retirement by calling us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video call. So if you have a question about our show today, just give us a call at 833-946-7384, or go to acresfinancial.com and visit us on our Facebook page also. So if you're turning 65, you need to stay tuned. There might be some more information that you need to know before you turn 65 on that birthday. Acres Financial Group was founded on the principles of integrity, trust, and service. We believe each and every client is unique and deserves advice and implementations that apply directly towards their personal financial fingerprint. This financial fingerprint tells us the objective risk tolerance and purpose of the investment and insurance tools that we use to assist our clients in reaching their goals. By discovering the purpose of each financial decision, we can help you accomplish your goals. Intelligent financial design starts with a detailed balance sheet and cash flow to know where to start. This leads to a financial decision that will allow you to reach your goals with your risk tolerance in mind. Our relationships begin with an initial consultation and grows with each meeting. We would be thrilled to work with you and begin your planning process. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. Or visit our website at acresfinancial.com. Member FINRA SIPC.
Are there times in some games you wish you could just turn on the TV at the 2-minute warning? Because that's the most important part of the game, right? As a fan, these are the most exciting moments. Your team could take home the victory or crumble under pressure. But when it comes to your retirement, don't wait until the last 2 minutes. So much can happen in the final working years before retirement. Whether you're in your 50s or 60s, near or already in retirement, there's still time to put a plan in place. Don't wait until right before you retire to begin planning for your future. Can you win the retirement game like that? Come in and talk with the team at Acres Financial Group. They've been helping families in Maryland plan for retirement for over 30 years. Call to schedule your complimentary meeting at 833-WIN-RETIRE. The number again is 833-WIN-RETIRE. Start planning for your retirement now. Call 833-946-7384. Member FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Here with me today is Jeff Akers, experienced certified financial planner. Experienced, I mean old. This has a way of saying it, Jeff, just in case you wanted to know. Jeff's been with Acres Financial Group since our beginning. He's also been working alongside me for 20 years. This Labor Day, I think, will be 20 years. Today we've been talking about healthcare, and Jeff is our resident expert at Acres Financial Group. So as you hear things today and you find out that, I got some questions, go ahead and give us a call. You can reach us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. And you can ask questions and sort of begin a little relationship with us and get to know us, and also we can try to help you where you are. So if you missed part of the show and you want to find out more about the healthcare talks we've had today, you missed some great segments. The first segment was tough. Got a little easier. Second, third was fun, but we're in a strong fourth quarter. We record our radio shows and we keep them on our website. You can go to acresfinancial.com under the radio tab. You'll see the shows from the past, and you'll see this show. It'll be on the website later next week, be on Wednesday. So go to that radio tab and find out more about the Winning in Retirement radio show, and also get to listen to the segments. You can go fast forward or reverse, or you can hear it 3 or 4 times if you like. So right now we're asking this question, Jeff. If you're turning 65, you got to stay tuned to this segment, to the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is winning time. This is how people win in retirement. Let's go ahead, Jeff. What should we watch for as we transition from employer to insurance through Medicare?
All right. So one important thing to know, earlier we were talking about HSAs, health savings accounts. This was in the first quarter, and that was my monologue about different types of things going on with employer-sponsored plans. But if you have an HSA, once you sign up for Medicare, you cannot contribute to the health savings account.
What?
That's a violation, and you get penalized if you do that.
What did you just say? Can you say that again?
I said that if you're on Medicare, and that means it might only be Part A. So if you are 65 and you signed up for Social Security, then you automatically have Part A. Whether you asked for it or not, you have it. And so you're not eligible to contribute to a health savings account at that point. Now, when you turn 65, yes, Brian's raising his hand over here, back to school.
I got more questions. You're telling me I draw Social Security at 65. I'm still part-time working, and I got health care, maybe through my spouse's plan, and I can't do the HSA anymore?
That is correct. If you want to do the HSA, don't take Social Security at 65 or earlier.
Wow. That is good advice there, Jeffrey.
Yeah, that is the rule. Now, the nice thing about 65 is Medicare starts on your 65th birthday or that month. So you've got an easy cutoff. Now, one of the tricky things that happens is someone might work past 65. They did not take Social Security, and they get to 70, and they might still be working. And they might have an HSA that they've been contributing to, which is fine because they didn't sign up for Social Security, so they don't have any form of Medicare. But they get to age 70 and they're like, well, there's no sense waiting any longer. I'm going to take Social Security. Well, they sign up for Social Security. Now they automatically have Part A of Medicare, and so they can't contribute to the HSA anymore. So they think, all right, I'm just going to stop. Here's the month that I'm signing up. It's the month of my birthday when I turn 70, and I'm not going to contribute to my HSA anymore after that. Well, with Medicare, they actually backdate your application for Part A by 6 months. So that means you need to plan 6 months in advance to not contribute to your HSA so that you're not in violation of this rule. It can be tricky.
Oh my. So if you have an HSA and you're getting close to retirement, be careful. What you need to do is have a financial planner that knows what's going on during this phase of life. So part of a good financial plan is health care. It's your insurance segment, knowing what you need to have in place. At Acres Financial Group, a thorough financial plan is what we want our clients to do at all times. Many times what happens is this. They don't know the full planning's being done. We're there talking, having a good time about their situation, but we're slowly finding out about their health care and what's going on, and then we offer the advice that's needed at that time of life. Life changes, transitions in life change, healthcare, where you work, employer benefits, all this changes. You got to be ready and able to handle it. And that's why having your own personal financial advisor is so important. All right, Jeff, what's the next topic you got for us?
Oh, gosh. Well, we mentioned the last time, or in last segment, that you sign up for Medicare 3 months or up to 3 months before you want it to take effect. Because when you want it to take effect, you want to have that card in your hand. You want to have the Medicare card in your hand. The other thing that you want to do is get signed up for a supplement plan. Medicare Parts A and B, hospital and outpatient, they cover things, but they leave a lot of gaps. And so you might have heard of Medigap coverage. Medigap coverage is just another way of saying a Medicare supplement. The supplement comes in and it picks up those things that might be missed in Parts A and Part B. So let's run through the cards that you want to have in your hand when you're starting to use Medicare. You want to have your Medicare card, and it'll say Part A and Part B on it. It'll give you an effective date. Then you want to have your Part D prescription drug plan, and that'll have, it'll say Part D on there and what company you're using for the prescription plan. And then you want to have your supplement card. Your supplement card is going to be from an individual company. It'll have the company's name on it, and it'll say, a little information about the plan that you chose. Did you choose plan B, C, D, G, whatever the case may be, all on that card. Now let's think about this for just a second. When you were working and you had health insurance, you had one card, and you'd take that card to the doctor and you'd say, here's my insurance card. Now you go to the doctor, and if they're going to do prescriptions as well, you pull out 3 cards and you say, here's my insurance. 3 cards replace the 1 card that you used to have. So it doesn't exactly get easier when you go to Medicare. If anything, it's a little more complex, the things that you have to deal with there.
All right, a simple question. Medicare, A, B, and D all comes out of your Social Security check?
A is free, B comes out of your Social Security check, and D, the prescription plan, can come out of your Social Security check, but you have to tell them you want that. Other than that, you just pay the bill directly with a credit card or direct draft from your checking account. Now the supplement, you're going to pay for that yourself. That cannot come out of your Social Security. So you're paying different things in different ways.
Now, I think that you've done a lot of research with clients where they bring in all the drugs that they're taking so that you can do a real thorough analysis of a supplement plan that would actually meet all the requirements that they need, right?
Right. There is a tool that we can use where we put in the drugs you take, we put in the pharmacy you want to go to, and it'll look through all the plans that are available and say, here's a plan and the total cost. Total cost means what about the premium, what about the deductible, what about the cost of these drugs, any copays at these pharmacies. And we can find the best plan for your situation by doing that. But that's something that we have to rerun every year at open enrollment in October, November. December 7th is the cutoff, so don't wait until December to be looking at this. If you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table thinking, I need to make a decision about my Medicare prescription plan, you might have waited a little too long. You're going to have to rush to make sure you get it done in time.
So at Acres Financial Group, what we've done is we have our in-house person, Jeff, who helps people with the healthcare decision, and then we bring in other experts depending on what clients need. because there are many times a discussion that has to be made to the minute detail based on what's going on in your life. Each and every person has to understand how health care will affect their retirement years. One of our greatest pieces of advice that we give people is this. We want you to be able to trade your mortgage payment for your health care payment when it comes to retirement. Because if you're paying $1,200-$1,500 a month in your mortgage, you're still going to have taxes and insurance in retirement. But if you no longer have a base mortgage payment, the health care is going to be asking for that money. Between Medicare and supplement, you could be somewhere between $400 a person, that kind of range. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yeah, earlier you asked about COBRA. If someone took COBRA as a husband and wife, about how much it would cost, and I said probably $1,000, $1,200. Well, when you're in retirement and on Medicare, between Part B, Part D, and your supplement, that'll add up to about $500 a person, $500 or $600 a person. And so for a couple, that's $1,000, $1,200, which is the mortgage payment, like you were mentioning. So it is important to get out of debt because you have to pay then for your health care expense.
The other thing that catches many people by surprise is, let's say you have the greatest financial year of your life, the year you retire. You cash in certain stock options, you cash in things, and then all of a sudden they get a Medicare bill that's not $144.60. It's actually $491 a month. That is something that people aren't prepared for. People need to know that Medicare Part B is means tested based on income. Is that always been there, Jeff?
The means testing is there and has been for a long time for Part B. Part D, the prescription plan, is also means tested. So you kind of get that double whammy. Both of them can cost more. And when we say means tested, we're talking about if you make so much money, you go above a certain number, then you're going to pay extra for these. And so it can be more expensive than what we just talked about.
Right. If you want more information on anything we're talking about today, give us a call. The income limits of Medicare Part B premiums and Part D premiums when it comes to retirement, we can get you a quick email on that. There's a lot going on when it comes to healthcare and retirement. This is just a show that we're trying to cover the basics of it. We want you to know one thing. You need to have that to be part of your retirement plan. Don't just accept whatever's thrown at you. Understand your options, your choices, so you can make the best decisions. Thank you very much, Jeff, for your advice for us today. I really appreciate it.
It was loads of fun.
Loads of fun. Well, some people don't call this fun. It's just part of life. We want you to have your financial plan finished, the worries about how to decide all of this taken care of by your financial advisor. That financial advisor must add value. Our Gold Acres Financial Group is to add value. Add value now as you prepare. We want you to be winning in retirement, and we want to be alongside you as you're doing all of this. So what you got to do is this. For a free time to talk, give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. When you call, you'll leave a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone or video call, or even we can have an in-person mask-to-mask meeting, and you just got to give us a call, 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated and investment advisory services through Kalos Management Incorporated. Akers Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment.
The preceding was a paid program, and the views expressed on this show do not represent the views of WJZ-FM, Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Akers Financial Group was founded on the principles of integrity, trust, and service. We believe each and every client is unique and deserves advice and implementations that apply directly towards their personal financial fingerprint. This financial fingerprint tells us the objective risk tolerance and purpose of the investment and insurance tools that we use to assist our clients in reaching their goals. By discovering the purpose of each financial decision, we can help you accomplish your goals. Intelligent financial design starts with a detailed balance sheet and cash flow to know where to start. This leads to a financial decision that will allow you to reach your goals with your risk tolerance in mind. Our relationships begin with an initial consultation and grows with each meeting. We would be thrilled to work with you and begin your planning process. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. Or visit our website at acresfinancial.com. Member FINRA SIPC.
Are you reacting or creating with your investments? When you have a sound financial plan, you don't have to be reacting every day. Let us help you create. Tune in to Winning in Retirement, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 105.7 The Fan. Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, and investment advisory services offered through Kalos Management Incorporated, both located at 11525 Parkwood Circle, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30005 678 1100. Akers Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services.
Broadcasting from the Thompson Creek Window Company studios. High-quality windows at an affordable price. Direct from their local factory. This is WJZ-FM Catonsville, Baltimore. 105.7 The Fan. A Radio.com sports station.